Well, we are just 3 weeks into the election campaign, but it would appear many Aussies have already made up their minds about who they're going to vote for. Across the weekend, we asked Sunrise family members whether they decided who'll get their vote. Now, 84% of respondents said yes, but a whopping 16% said no. They're going to decide the election. Now, it's probably fair to say many of that 16% are feeling disillusioned with both major parties. So the minor forces are keen to point out there is an alternative. Two of those options are with us this morning to debate their very different positions. Fiona Patten is leader of the Australian Sex Party, while Wendy is standing for Family First in Queensland. Here's Mel.
Thank you very much. All right, ladies, welcome to both of you. Thank you for coming in. Now, what I want to do is kick off with 30 seconds for each of you to explain your philosophies before we get into the debate. So, Fiona, you won the toss. We'll start with you, and we've got a clock on it, so we'll follow it.
Okay. Right, well, we're fundamentally a civil liberties party, and we were born from, I suppose, the internet filter really started us going. But we represent, I think, the majority view on a lot of issues such as same-sex marriage, voluntary euthanasia, sex education, and also trying to keep, I guess, government intervention out of adults' lives while protecting children, and also to really try and keep religion out of politics, because I think we're
Certainly, we'll come back to that one. All right, thank you very much. OK, Wendy, Francis, over to you. Same, you've got 30 seconds.
OK, Australia needs Family First in the Senate because we will actually bring balance to the balance of power. The most important question that you can ask when you go and vote is what sort of Australia do we want for our children and our children's children? Do we want a society with no morals, with no values and no sense of what's right and wrong? I will work for G-rated outdoor advertising. I will work on everything that is good for children, for parents and for mainstream Australia. So I want to be the voice for Queensland in the Senate. Please vote me.
That was well timed. You've practiced that down to the 30 seconds. OK. Now, what I want to do is go through some of your major points of difference. Wendy, I'll start with you. You mentioned G-rated outdoor advertising there. We've spoken to you on the show before about things like censorship of billboards. Why are governments better placed to decide what we should and shouldn't see than the general public and individuals?
It's a shame that it's got to be that way, Mel, but the problem is that our industry at the moment is self-regulated and it is not working. Our children are not being protected from highly sexualised images in our society. So we drive down the road with the children in the car and they are seeing things that we should not have to explain to them when they're 4, 5, 6 years old. I want outdoor advertising to be G-rated so that it's the same across the board. We have G-rating for our children's TV programmes.
How would you go with our billboard? Because I have a billboard that says the Australian Sex Party.
Well, I don't have a problem with the Australian Sex Party at all.
You don't have a problem with the word sex, it's just...
No, I don't have a problem with the word sex, except when I have to explain it to a 4-year-old child what it means. So I don't want longer-lasting sex plastered over a billboard.
But Australian Sex Party is
and I believe that the majority of Australians would not want that either.
Yeah. So, Fiona, to you then, I mean, some of the billboards are pretty graphic. You're OK with all of them?
You know, I think some of them are fairly tasteless, but I don't think we need government intervention in that.
So we need intervention, like the parents have actually...
We do have a very good system in place, and certainly, look, the Advertising Bureau assesses itself, and I think we're finding that the majority of people actually are quite happy with where it goes. And look, we do get tasteless stuff, but that's part of a free society. That we don't have to agree with everything that's out there.
Fiona is not actually speaking for the majority of Australians. She is speaking for the sex industry. Fiona represents a lobby group for the sex industry.
I think I represent about the vast majority of Australians who think that we don't need greater government intervention in our lives. If anything, we need less intervention.
What Fiona is saying, and there's big money. Her money actually stopped my billboard going up 3 times.
No, your billboard was against the company that you were putting the billboard at. I mean, look, I don't think billboards is really important.
Make outdoor advertising G-rated.
Let's look at real ways of protecting children. I mean, how about a Royal Commission into sex abuse in the church? I mean, would you support something like that?
I would support Commission into sex abuse across the board. Absolutely.
Fantastic. I think that... Look, I mean, that's great.
It's not just churches. I don't know why you would actually single out churches because it is across the board.
But I was going to ask that question of both of you anyway. So we've got agreement on that one. So a Royal Commission into sex abuse.
Absolutely. Can we have it across the board within the sex industry as well? That would be really good.
Well, actually, no one's been charged in the sex industry. 1,000 church employees have been charged.
I think it's abuse of children that we drive down the road and we have to explain to them sexual imagery.
I think billboards are actually just such a a small part of
You're absolutely right.
our
it is a
society.
small part of it.
Can I ask another policy then? Internet filter, Fiona, you've been pushing strongly. The Labor government, of course, has been pushing struggling for this.
Look, I mean, you know, the Australian Sex Party probably wouldn't be here had it not been for the internet filter.
The internet filter is actually against child pornography. So you're
child
saying...
pornography is already illegal, Wendy. It's already illegal. We already send people to jail for it.
But this is what the filter is. But it's there, Fiona. You'd be blind if you didn't know it was there.
But the filters I mean, we have laws to stop child pornography. They already exist.
That's actually what the filter is about.
No, the filter's there to say we're going to filter it. I want the people who do child pornography prosecuted and sent to jail. I don't want to see us filtering sites. I want to see them closed down and sent to jail. And the internet filter is actually not about that. It's about restricting what adults can view with the misguided idea that it will protect children.
No, that's not true. There will still be able to choose what you watch in your own home. But when it starts affecting, yes, you will. You actually will.
Wendy, I'm not sure that you understand that the blacklist, the secret blacklist that the government will be keeping, all ISPs will be forced to block all Australians from viewing any sites that are on that blacklist. Now, those sites do not contain illegal material, such as child pornography, and you and I, of course, are in agreement about child pornography.
Absolutely.
But I'm not supportive of a government deciding what I don't think as an adult can and can't watch.
OK, so different view on that one. All right, let's go to the next one. Wendy, your website says marriage can only be between a man and a woman. So what would you say to any gay couples watching this morning?
I would say that gay couples have every right to be a gay couple.
They just can't have the same equality.
But why would we change something that's been around forever? Why would we all of a sudden change the definition of marriage to accommodate a lifestyle choice that is quite legal?
Because it's about equality.
No, this is not about equality at all. This is actually about what's the good of Australia. A small minority group is wanting something. And anyway, like, I can't believe that this is an issue when there are so many important things that we're talking about in Australia.
But I'm just trying to garner the different views.
I actually find it is an important issue,
between a man and a woman, and that is in the Marriage Act, and I see no reason why that would change, and I think the majority of Australians would agree with me.
The majority of Australians don't agree with you, and all of the polling showing that the majority of Australians do believe that we should change the Marriage Act to not discriminate against people on the grounds of who they love.
So then where are we going to stop, Fiona? So that there has to be a line drawn somewhere.
Gay.
So where...
My sister cannot marry her partner. They have a beautiful daughter. I have a gorgeous niece, Bonnie, and they're not treated in the same equal status as a family.
There has to be a line drawn somewhere. So that's not true at all. They have total legal status.
They don't, Wendy. They can't marry. They don't.
But
we
the reason why they can't marry is because the Marriage Act defines it as being between a man and a woman.
Do not allow an Australian law to discriminate against someone on the grounds of their sexuality.
Marriage is the backbone of Australia. Marriage is the backbone of Australia. It is such a good
Wendy, I think your idea of family is not probably the idea of most people, a lot of people's families in Australia.
You are actually looking for the good of your industry, Fiona. You are not looking for the good of Australia.
So the Sex Party is much broader.
No, that's not true.
Really, you know, the adult industry has no interest in marriage.
All right, let's look at the next policy. Tax-free status, Fiona, for religions. Why do you want to remove that?
Look, I certainly think anything to do with charity or good work should remain tax exempt, and I think there's some fantastic charities and fantastic organisations.
But what you're talking about is Lifeline and Salvation Army.
No, I'm not. I'm talking about, within the Tax Act, it says if you promote religion, that receives tax exempt status. Now, why should promoting religion be a tax-exempt status? Promoting good food eating is not tax-exempt. Promoting religion, I think it's archaic and it's out of step with today's society.
Money away from people like the Salvation Army, Lifeline, who are actually counselling people who come out of your industry.
I just saw the cathedral up here spend tens of millions of dollars building a church spire while there was homeless people all underneath it. Now, I don't believe in today's society, which is largely a secular society.
Salvation Army are out there feeding those homeless people.
Look, I'm totally supportive of Salvation Army, except for their drug policies. I'm totally supportive of a lot I'm totally supportive of church organisations.
Except for doesn't mean totally. Totally means,
Wendy, your view then, you don't think it should be removed?
No, I don't. I think that if somebody's doing something wrong, you know, by all means, look into every
why should churches remain tax exempt? Why should they not pay land tax like the rest of us?
But it's not just churches, it's charities.
I'm not saying charities, I'm saying religion.
But a lot of charities are run by churches.
Yeah, I know, but if
we're actually throwing the baby out with the bathwater.
No, the work they do for charity, of course, remains tax exempt. The work they do in promoting religion is what I'm saying shouldn't be tax exempt.
Oh, I think it's a free society.
Now, can I would love you both to sort of give me a bit of a snapshot to end all of this. Finally, who would you like to see as Prime Minister and why? Julia Gillard or Tony Abbott? Fiona Patten, your views.
I'd like to see myself as Prime Minister.
No.
You know, at this stage,
And
I
the
don't
policies
think...
are all about sex.
I don't think that either party is really answering a lot of the major questions that affect people's lives today. So, and I'm one of the 16%. I haven't decided on my vote. I would like to see them talk more about voluntary euthanasia, talk more about government interventions into their people's lives.
Talk more about devaluing human life. That's what you're saying. You want them to talk about devaluing human life.
No, I don't.
Can I just get a quick snapshot? So basically, you haven't decided, but one of them will be. Do you have are you leaning either way yet?
Look, certainly one of our policies was to see more women in Parliament and to see a greater balance. So I have to say, from a female perspective and from a personal perspective, I do like to see a female Prime Minister. OK,
and Wendy, who would you like to see Prime Minister?
Mel, the major parties and the Radical Greens are actually they're making decisions at the moment based on what's good for them and their parties and their own strategies. They're not making decisions for what's best for Australians. So I believe that, as Fiona has said...
You've given your preference to the climate sceptics, One Nation and the shooters.
No, we've actually given our preference deal to LNP, and if anybody reads the Queensland Courier Mail, they would know that.
Wendy,
so who do you want to see Prime Minister?
Well, as Fiona's just pointed out, we have given our preference to the LNP, so I guess that's where we would lean.
Shooters,
but,
One Nation.
So you want Tony Abbott?
You actually have to preference everybody, Fiona. So the problem here is that I'm not sure Fiona understands the ticket, because you do have to put a box between everyone. So when you're preferencing, you do have to actually preference every party.
Are you telling me you'd like Tony Abbott as preferred PM?
I'm saying that we are giving our preferences to the LNP.
OK, that's an answer without...
Yeah.
OK, fair enough. Well, thank you both very much for your time. It was really interesting to hear your philosophies and your party's views, so thank you for a nice, healthy debate. There you go. Koshi, that wasn't boring.
It was terrific. If only we could get Tony Abbott and Julia Gillard to be as honest.